Mariners fans, one and all, how are we doing today? I'm here to review the next game in Grimsby's exciting season, shall we say. I'm here to preview the Newport County game, which happens on Saturday, of course. And I just want to apologise that the review for MK Dons didn't get out, and I am apologies for that due to I had some sound difficulties with my microphone, so it really wasn't a good sound quality to be able to get it out to you, and if you can't hear me properly, you can't get the best of the video, I didn't believe, so I thought that wasn't worth putting out, but we're back now, as you can hopefully hear me. We're back now with, like I said, this interesting preview, especially what's happened with other teams over the last week. I've watched two League Two games over the last week of teams that will be playing fairly recently, and it just shows you how unpredictable League Two is. As Bristol Rovers beat playoff chasing Walsall, and Accrington beat playoff chasing Salford. So this is a game against Newport that we can't take them lightly. We can't take Newport lightly. That's without doubt. If we look at the team news that David Arthur said, obviously it was more about more of a recap of the transfer window. Apparently the Mariners were in for one other player on deadline day. They're trying to do a little bit of business, but it didn't come off apparently. From what I could make out, that's what David Artell probably made them decide to take a Cam McJanet's extension, but it wasn't to be. So we didn't get that little bit of business through the door. But in general, you have to look at the Mariners' overall January business and think, very solid. And now I'm sure David Artell is thankful that now the transfer window has passed. At least for the next couple of months, he can now just worry about games and preparing the team, rather than having to worry about, are you in for this person, are you in for that person. A little bit of news, which is good to know. Cam Gardner is back on the grass, is improving. Grimsby have been putting a couple of videos out to prove his progression, which is absolutely fantastic. That Cam could be back fairly soon. Well on the way to recovery. Excuse me, there's a couple of beeps in the background. And as well, he was asked about Svan Thorson. Apparently, he went over to Spain in the last couple of weeks to try and sort out the problem. Hopefully, he has to go back on the grass fairly soon as well. No real other injury problems or injury concerns for the Mariners that we haven't sort of already dealing with. Obviously, having Henry Brown and Zach Gilzenon, both those lads out on loan and doing well so far. I think Zach's 2-2, and Henry scored last weekend as well. Things are looking good for the squad, and obviously he was asked about Judson Bell as well, not being involved last weekend. Apparently Jude got a concussion against Colchester, which obviously going through concussion protocols, you can't really take any risks on that front. But I think overall, if we look at it, you know, will Kasuri get a start at the weekend? We'll have to wait and see. Um, it'll be interesting because he is, like I said, I saw him, obviously, and everyone else did, I'm sure, when he was being presented, and I thought, this lad's a unit. So we'll see whether he gets a start or some game time against Newport. No real other worries sort of injury front, I don't think. I think Artel was, it was kind of like a pretty standard after transfer window kind of pre-match, really. I wouldn't think why you'd change too much. You'd probably, for Newport, you'd probably bring in Rhys Staunton to start the game, possibly. And obviously, I think you've got to at least try and play Cook and KBU again, because they do look like they've got some kind of real understanding. So I would say try and play them again. Who knows? But I think it's this is going to be a very difficult game. I've got some stats which I'll be using the BBC Sport website for, and obviously don't forget, lads and lasses, that the game kicks off at 3:01 tomorrow. That is to do obviously with the Every Minute Matters campaign, obviously with the National Heart Foundation, and obviously hopefully trying to get defibrillators through into grounds as well, and obviously everyone will be supporting in the EFL and so on and so forth. Will be kicking off at 3:01. So if you're wondering why you're a minute later than normal, that will be why. But very good cause to help, I should say, support and get the word out there about how important it is to help as soon as you can with any issues of obviously the heart issues. So every minute matters campaign. So the match will kick off at 3:01. Obviously, Newport are managed by Christian Fuchs, the former Leicester City defender and Premier League winner with Leicester, and he's been there since mid-November. Probably not quite had the spring they were hoping for, but you know, it goes where it goes. If you look at it from this perspective, Newport, like second bottom in League Two, Grimsby are in 9th place. The total points is 20 for Newport and 44 for Grimsby Town. So there's quite a gap between the two, which you would expect. And proof as well in goals scored. Grimsby in the league have scored 41 times this season. Newport County have scored 29. If we look at just the conceded column and shots and that, Grimsby lead. In all, Grimsby have only conceded 32 goals to Newport's 54. 212 shots for Newport, 278 for Grimsby, 129 shots on target for the Mariners, only 97 on target for Newport, 115 shots off target. Grimsby have 149 off target. If we look at the passing accuracy of both sides, there is not a lot in that. It's 72.24 for Grimsby Town and 71.61 over the season for Newport. Points gained from losing positions, Grimsby have gained 7, whereas Newport have only gained 2. Points dropped from winning positions though, 16 points dropped for Newport. The Mariners have dropped 12 from winning positions. Obviously we will be reunited to a certain point, obviously, with Anthony Glennon, who is still at Newport, and of course Jordan Wright, who moved to Newport from us last season. So we'll be coming up against one or both of those boys when we head to Wales against Newport. So if we look at the recent results for both sides, if we look at the home side to start with, they've only had one win in their last 5 games, unfortunately, where they've had a 2-1 defeat away at Leaders Bromley, a 3-2 defeat away at Gillingham. They did get a 2-1 win at home to Chesterfield. That could be a key result in something, but in the last couple of games, they've lost 4-1 at home to a very impressive Accrington Stanley, I must admit. And last time out, a 3-0 defeat away at fellow strugglers Bristol Rovers. Whereas the Mariners, obviously unbeaten in 7 games now. After that 2-2 draw, that great 2-2 draw with a good breaks by Jace Cabier against the MK Dons. Before that, obviously, the narrow 1-0 win over Colchester, a 2-0 win away at Cheltenham, a 1-0 win at home to Barnet, and obviously the FA Cup win against Western Supermare, 3-2 in the league, and obviously being the first game in 6 that the Mariners did not give a clean sheet in. But I think a lot of people before that game honestly thought that it was probably going to happen. You know, that we probably weren't going to keep a clean sheet against MK Dons. In fact, that's been our highest scoring fixture this year over both games. There's, there's been 9 goals in those 2 games between MK Dons and Grimsby. So you look at the overall form and you'd probably look at that and go, well, it's a foregone conclusion. As the last couple of results I've seen the last couple of days, you can never think that against anybody. If you look at the overall previous meetings between the two sides, played 26 times recently. Newport have won 9. The Mariners have won 9. And 8 draws in that as well. So, fairly even. Well, it is even when you think about it, really. It's a difficult place to go to, Newport. And although the Mariners are unbeaten in their last 3 games, as in 2024, when we went to Newport, we got a 0-0 draw, and then a 1 here at Newport, 1-0 in the March, and obviously this past August, at the start of the season, the Mariners got a 2-1 win at Blundell Park again over Newport County. It was a late win at that, but you know it worked in our favour. So we're looking to do the double over Newport. A few match facts here for you, supplied by BBC Sport, of course. Mixing between Grimsby and Newport. Newport County are winless in their last 7 Football League meetings, with the Mariners drawing 3, losing 4, scoring just 3 goals across these 7 matches. After their 2-1 win in the reverse fixture this season, Grimsby Town could complete a league double over Newport County for the first time since 1970-71 season. Newport County have won just 2 of their last 14 league games, drawing 3 and losing 9. However, both wins came at home, 2-0 against Crewe in December and 2-1 against Chesterfield in January, which we'll get into in just a second. Grimsby Town have won their last 3 away league games in League 2, keeping a clean sheet each time. They've never won more consecutive games on the road whilst keeping a clean sheet in the Football League. And I think that, that fact about Newport's last 2 major home wins, one against Crewe and one against Chesterfield just last month, um, emphasises that they might be struggling at the bottom of League Two, but they are capable of squeaking out a result here and there. So we have to be ready for what Newport are going to do. It's going to be a difficult game. I think it's a game where we've got to be patient at times. I think there is going to be moments of maybe a little bit of frustration. Maybe again, the first goal I think is going to be key in this game. I think we're going to want a quick start, but we're also going to be known that as teams are doing is, especially teams with technically lesser quality, they're going to want to frustrate the better team. And with a lot of the games that we've got coming up, big games that we've got coming up, you look at this one as a banker. I look at it as probably one of the tougher ones, because when you're expected to win games, they're always tougher, I find. But it is a game where, especially with this one, where I think the first goal is going to be important. And it'll be interesting to see what David Artell decides to do. Will he shuffle the pack a little bit? Obviously, with a busy week and a half coming up for him. For the next week, he's going to be Saturday, Wednesday. So, he's going to be busy for the next 3 or 4 games. So, we'll see what he does. Kieran Green, I believe, is back from suspension. So that is a good thing. I'm sure he'll be back in contention and probably back in the middle. I can see, and you need someone like Greeny in a game like this, because it's gonna be gritty at times. It could be ugly at times. So it'll be interesting to see what the Mariners do. I would play Jason Cookie up top again. Obviously, we'll see what goes on. Will Cam find his way onto the bench? I don't know whether Cam would play, but it'd be good if we saw Cam Gardner on the bench. But like I said, he's definitely on his way back. And score prediction for me for this one. Again, it's going to be all be about the first goal. That's what this game especially is going to be about. Newport are going to want to keep it close. They're going to want to keep it as tight and as frustrating as they can make it. Obviously, not being in the best of form, I do fancy the Mariners to have enough for this, but I do think there is, like I said earlier, there's going to be moments of patience that we're going to have to be ready for a scrap, and it's games like this that are maybe even more important than against the better sides, because you have to play different against these teams. I am going to go for a Grimsby Town win. Be hard not to, wouldn't it, really? I cover Grimsby and going for them to lose, but I'm actually going to go for a Grimsby Town win, but I don't expect it to be easy by any means. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win for the Mariners. Hopefully Andy Cook gets his first goal back in Grimsby colours, and I am going to go for I'd love to say Dara Burns to get a goal. No, I'll go Evan Corey. I think I'll go Evan Corey. Andy Cook and Evan Corey to get the goals against Newport. Hopefully get another clean sheet. And hopefully we get we can keep this unbeaten run going into a very busy week and a half, or 2 weeks really, for the Mariners over February. One other thing before I do end this preview, that Jackson Smith has been nominated for Player of the Month for League Two, and I just want to send my first of all congratulations out to Jacko for the nomination, and what a player he's been. You know, he is he's been such a commanding force in the back line, trusting, really built up the trust of the back line, really commanding his box, coming out and collecting crosses. He's not spilling much. He's making some great saves when need to. He made a couple of cracking saves against MK Dons, and he made a couple of cracking saves against Colchester when he was backs against the wall. His nomination is well deserved. If you get a chance to vote for Jackson, please go ahead and do it. I believe he has been one of the best players in the league since joining the Mariners. So congratulations to Jacko. It's always good to see Grimsby on the forefront of people's minds, you know, and it's always good to see. But well done to Jacko. Hopefully another clean sheet is coming his way on Saturday. But like I said, it's going to be a very, very difficult game. So leave me your thoughts down below. If you are travelling down to Newport County, safe journey up or across. I think it's more across, isn't it? Is it across and down? I think it's across and down. So, have a safe journey up there. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make the trip to Newport, but I'll be keeping up to date with what happens in that game. I will have a review for you. Hopefully this video proves that the mic is starting to work again. And I look forward to hopefully talking about a win after the game, but we shall see. Leave me your thoughts down below, your score predictions, and all things Grimsby. Any questions you have for me as well, do leave them in the comments down below. Until then, guys, I'll see you for the review of the game. But until then, guys, up the Mariners, and on we go. Can we keep this unbeaten run going? Let's hope so, as we head towards Wales and Newport County. So until then, guys, up the Mariners, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra for now.